section of the next lap, you must take the original course if the track is clear. If you leave the course for any reason, we don't stop you. You must re-enter where you left, and if you cut, we simply take your number down and penalize you if you don't go back where you're supposed to. It's no excuse that you're following another rider. You are responsible to follow the course. Now, if you encounter a lap team, give them notice you're behind them. Have patience and give the team time.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And good afternoon once again, and welcome everyone here to the beautiful Maury Hunting Reserve and this CST Tires Camp Coker Bullet GNCC, round 5 of America's Premier Off-Road Racing Championship, presented by, of course, we're talking about AMSOIL, First in Synthetics, our title sponsor, and our good friends there at Maxxis Tires. It's the 42nd annual running of the AMSOIL GNCC Series, and glad to have you folks here as a part of the 42nd year and our first ever running here at Camp Coker. And folks, we've got some great things in store for you. Rodney Tomlin along with Megawatt Matt Watson, also our GNCC pastor, going to be doing some color with us today. Mr. Chuck Leemaster from Team Faith is here with us. And we got big things going on with UTV racing, as already we've gone through our opening ceremonies, and we have set the stage for today's race. Now it's a matter of waiting and getting the official word from our friends there at Timing and Scoring that all systems are go, as we check the starting line. Looking down onto the starting line, my paperwork, let's see, we have a total of 79 of these side-by-sides, and that's quite a few of these guys to be having in the woods here. And it's also going to present some exciting things as far as the racing is concerned. Speaking of exciting things as far as the racing is concerned, we've seen some rather untraditional finishes, I think. Maybe some surprises for some, but things finally getting into the swing of things for others, and they're in places where they felt that they should have been so many times before already. Welcoming so many of the riders. Of course, as we look at the point standings right now, Cody Miller, the 420, if I'm not mistaken, the 422 is a former ATV motocross star, if I'm not mistaken, and if he's not, he is now. And he won the 4x4 class today as well. Regardless of where he comes from, he can ride a 4x4 ATV too. Kyle Cheney, your defending champion, coming into this round with a 9th place finish in round 1, and a first place finish at round 2. So this is round 3. I said 4 a few moments ago for you guys, but it's round 3. Jamie McCoy sitting in 3rd right now with 4ths and 3rds. David Plavy finishing 2nd the first round. Didn't make any points or finish the 2nd round, so we got some interesting things going on. As we're less than 30 seconds away, guys. Shut them down as we're about ready to go GNCC racing here in the soils of South Carolina. As all attention turns to Ricky Tower, and he says, 10 seconds for row number 1 here in the XC1 Pro UTV class at this CST Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. The Starting lineup again, that first row is Kyle Cheney, John Barnes, Jamie McCoy, Jason Luberg out there, and Cody Miller. It is the number 1 car of Kyle Cheney taking the early lead. At row 2, the number 2 car from last year and the number 4 car we got in here. We got Bill Patterson, Tim Farr, and also John Yoakley here with us, Kevin Trantham and Michael Swift. 10 seconds. And, of course, that right there is row number 2 as we get them sorted out. Tim Farr, ATV racing great, ATV motocross, GNCC, and now UTV side-by-side racing, pulling to the early lead in this one ahead of the Coastal. Number 2 car, Bill Patterson, and Henry Moree joining us over here as he is a landowner and a great passionate individual for off-road racing. And we're going to get him to do a 10-second call in a moment right now. 10 seconds for Frank Olander, Paul Greenwood, Justin Lukic, also Clint Zentner, Cole Secoy, Robert Boynton, and Tim Marshall as they're off and rolling. The 990 of Zach Zakowski. I said row 4. This is row 3, actually off and rolling right now. Zach Zakowski in that one. Now we got Frank Olander, Paul Greenwood, Justin Ludick, Clinton Zentner, Cole Secoy, Robert Boynton, and Tim Marshall ready to go. And our guest 10-second caller here again, Mr. Henry Moree, as we get set for our next row in
10 seconds.
Row number 4, actually, I believe, getting ready to go. I'll catch it right there. That is the 222 car. That is 4. That is Cole Secoy getting off to the early lead in that Yamaha. Watch this thing. Listen to it rip, man. That thing is flying out there, that YXC. Team FCR out there with us as well. And now we go to row 5, finally. I've been pushing the envelope and trying to get these rows a little quicker, but I'd skipped one, actually. But Mouse Pratt, Travis Pointer. We got Bob Nether, Richard Curley, and Justin Fleming in 10 seconds. And they're off. The number 5 car, like a bullet, here at the bullet off the starting line. That's Mouse Pratt. Mouse Pratt getting off to a good jump off the starting line there. He's a RacerTech Dragonfire Can-Am back driver. Ben Hart back there behind him, I believe. Racing, they got Joe Kreselich, Jonathan Powers, Sean Henry, David Plavi, who got second at the first round, and Brian Riggs all ready to go next. 10 seconds. All right, can the triple nickels pull off a hold shot? We see the 555 doing that oftentimes. Let's see what's going on as they jockey for position through the first turn right now. Woo! Look at that, man. It is the 39 car. And the 39 car is the steel driving man, John Henry. John Henry getting the lead there in the XC2 Pro Sport class. That's row 1 for that class, by the way. Chris Brockway in row 7. This is XC2 Pro Sport. Seth Mitchell, Jamie Held, Rich Travelina, Christopher Hale. Less than 10 seconds to go for these guys now. Is waiting for the green flag to wave, which it does. 128 car of Rich Travelina. Good jump off the line. He looked like a bullet himself here at the Camp Coker Bullet. Oh, but the 23 car steals the thunder. Chris Brockway. Row 8. This is the third row of XC2 Pro Sports. We got Chris Wolf, Hunter Miller, Mike Dunbar, Gary Conklin, and Chris Foy. 10 seconds. I hear Henry over there in the background practicing, getting ready for it tomorrow, isn't he? Hey, we got the 90 car. That is Miller in that one. Which Miller would that be? How about Hunter Miller in the number 90 car? Next is row 9. This is XC2 Pro Sport again. Andrew Evans, Mike Jenkins, Richie Nolan, and Corey Bartlett. 10 seconds. And they're off. And just to give you an idea, yeah, there's a lot of the same classes starting on different rows. We start anywhere from 5 to 7 a row. And the rows are well, classes are bigger than that. So these guys are all zeroed out on time. It's a total time adjustment for these guys. So that's why you'll see guys that are way back on row 7 leading the overall and haven't even seen the leaders physically on the racetrack. Up next is row 10, Brett Wingfield, Leo Oleana, Lucas Wieheimer. Also, we got Josh Davis, Denny Aubrey. Off and rolling next. This is XC3 Pro-Am. XC3 Pro-Am, row 1. Row 10 for the starts here today. It's the 121 car. Brett Wingfield getting the early lead in this one now as we go to row 11. Scott Beckery, Darren Oakley, Jim Guggenauer, and Eric Gould. 10 seconds. Little ATV motocross blood. Vetri Racing in the house with us here today. Just recognize that. Weekend Warrior Motorsports back ride. They get off third off the starting line and into the first turn. Ooh, a little bump and grind action there. And the 522 car is going to grab the early lead. 522 is Jim Guggenauer. So welcoming more of our ATV Motocross Racing Nation over here to the wood side of things. Dan McConaughey, Brandon White, and Scott Townsend. That's your lights UTV class, row 12. They are off and rolling now. The 102 car grabbing the early lead. Oh, no, who's that? I don't have a 102, so we'll try to sort it out through a helmet tag, quite possibly, if I can read the tiny numbers. Is that 125, possibly? Nope. I have not a clue. 102, Townsend. Okay, Scott Townsend. I thought that said 125. Row 13, amateur modified. Bill Ross, Justin Rossini, Brandon Hayden, Josh Luktic, and Chad Moret off and rolling now. The 34 car of Bill Ross, first row of amateur modifieds, grabbing the early lead in this one now as he sweeps around that first turn, gets a good line on turn 2, but he's got company trying to sneak in. That Rossini Racing Machine trying to make it happen, but is able, at least for the moment, to shut the door on Justin Rossini. We got the number 14 row. This is row 2 of the amateur mods. High Strung Racing, Ben McCourt and Lawrence Sampson. I don't know who High Strung Racing is, but we might get to find out here pretty soon. Oh, there they go. I love the way they just take off. It seems so mild-mannered whenever you hear them right at the very beginning, and then by the time they reach that first turn, they sound like screaming demons, man. Polaris rounding the first turn. That's the 992 car, I believe, of Lawrence Sampson grabbing the early lead in that one. More amateur limited class riders. This is row 1 of the amateur limited. The great himself, the innovator of the 4x4 racing, Mike Penland, is out here with us. Paul Yerkes and Stephen Golden, and also Brent Kennedy off and rolling next. Look at Mike Penland go. Max is hooking up on that Can-Am machine, and he takes that thing to the first turn and, wow, threads a needle and takes over the early lead right off the bat. Mike Penland. Vicky Fowler in this next row, along with Austin Seelig, John Higgins, Wade Poole, and Jeremy Wallace. More amateur limited drivers, and less than 10 seconds to go in this one now. Vicky Fowler, the mother of Walker Fowler, our defending ATV GNCC champion. She gets in on the action herself a little bit now, it looks like. Red Bear Racing, though, going to get the early lead in this one. Let's see, that is the 819 car. Or am I reading that all wrong? Well, it's the 819 car, but it's the 10. What is that? What number? Did you see that number? Might have been 402, John Higgins. I think it was the 402. So we go to the row 17, the final one, amateur limited. We got Austin Agner and Jason Golden. And they're off. 852, the Golden Boy. Look at that. Getting a good jump off the line there in this amateur limited class. He's going to grab the early lead in this one. And, of course, with that being said, that sets the stage for yet another great race here today. And it's all coming to you live here on RacerTV.com. Welcome across the globe, my friends. Glad to have you here at Society Hill, South Carolina, in this Maury Hunting Preserve for this, the inaugural running of the CST Tires Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. We'll be back with more on RacerTV.com and GNCC Live right after this.
If you love the outdoors, then you'll love all the variety of sporting options at Maury's Sportsman's Preserve. From Maury's world-class upland bird hunting to year-round sporting clays to seasonal hunting opportunities for duck, hog, and deer, Maury's Sportsman's Preserve offers all these hunting activities without a large financial investment. Maury's also offers golf packages and corporate outings as well. For more information on Maury's Sportsman's Preserve, visit online at mauryspreserve.com.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
The Andersons discovered life is easier with an Outlaw RV. The Outlaw is a complete home on wheels with a multifunctional garage. Getting on the road has never been quicker. The Outlaw is made to fit the lifestyle of today's active families. So stop roughing it and start enjoying your weekends. Find the Thor Motor Coach Outlaw that fits your needs at GarageRVs.com today.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Camp Coker. We're here watching UTV racing. I'm Matt Megawatt Watson. We're joined by Rodney Tomlin out there on the start. He's going to be working on the podium here in just a little bit. And we've got Pastor Chuck LeMaster with us. Chuck, we know you're a veteran of the UTV wars. Tell us a little bit about what's going on here so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt, it's great to be here with you. And looks like we've got some guys checking in through the finish line right now. And from what we see on our screens, though, with our view on RacerTV Live or GNCC Live, we can see that there's a lot of sand out there. And the UTV, the cars, as we call them, are actually hitting the motocross track. And to all of us standing around out here, it sounds like a great idea. Let's go over that motocross track, but it's rough. It's very rough out there. And as you see these cars bouncing across the whoops in the motocross track, you just realize that, man, I hope they put some extra denture cream in their mouth because they're getting a head rattling right now.
Man, you're going to jar some fillings loose. You might need back surgery. Hard to tell how it's going to go down, but I can tell you, not easy to ride one of those things around a motocross course.
No, it certainly isn't. And I caught Adam McGill on his way to the line because he's riding passenger on one of these cars. And he said, man, after just getting done with 2 hours on the ATV, getting ready to come out here to the UTVs, that track is beat and it is rough, and it's going to be a very, very rough ride for us right now. And, of course, what we can see on the screen right now is that there's a lot of sand, and sand is a lot of fun to ride in, whether you're on a UTV, a bike, a four-wheeler, whatever you're on. Sand is a ton of fun as long as it's prepped. As it starts to deteriorate and as it starts to deteriorate and break apart, it gets very, very rough. It looks like we've got the Marcus Pratt vehicle is live on our screen right here, already getting hooked up to the tow truck.
You know, those guys always players, those guys always serious, always in the game, and early day for Pratt today.
Yeah, I know that that's certainly not intentional, and that's an understatement for sure. But he has always been a contender on this series, and it's a shame to see him go out before the first lap is even done. And speaking of first lap, though, I do want to take our listeners down through the scoring right now. We've had our first lap complete. 11 minutes and 38 seconds is what it took Kyle Cheney to come around and take that first spot position on the first lap. So it's Kyle Cheney right now. He's being followed by Tim Farr. Tim Farr is about 27 seconds behind. Interesting thing, though, is that Tim Farr started on row 2. And he's already on time adjustment, is in the second place position. So we're going to keep an eye on Tim Farr as this race unfolds. We got Kyle Cheney, Tim Farr. Third place is Cody Miller, who is our current points leader right now. Jason Luberg is in 4th. Stephen Matko in 4th. Cole Secoy in 6th. Mouse Pratt is the number 5. Mouse Pratt is in 7th. We saw the number 10 of Marcus Pratt being towed off there, not to confuse the two. Travis Pointer's in 8th, John Yoakley in 9th, and John Barnes is in the 10th place position.
And, you know, Marcus Pratt, he sat out last race because he was sick, so that's really going to hurt him in the points.
Yeah, for sure, and that is the voice of Jesse Strawham, who's joining us live in the RacerTV booth, and Jesse is one of our ace race contenders and brings a fair amount of ATV and UTV experience and has been joining us live in the booth, and so we welcome you, Jesse. Welcome to Camp Coker Bullet.
Thank you. The track was a blast. The track crew did a really great job. This is a great facility, and I hope we keep it on the schedule.
I think, Matt, we're hearing that from just about everybody that's been through here.
It's amazing, man. From the youth racers this morning to our 4x4 pro racers to, guess what, our XC1 pros. Everybody praising not just the facilities, but the actual course itself. As you mentioned, 2 or 3 different kinds of sands. Got some shell-type rock, loose rock on top, different color clay as you move into other parts of the track. But guess what? It worked for everybody. It worked for the mini quads. It worked for the 4x4 quads. It worked for the pro quads. And Jesse telling us had an absolute blast in the Ace this morning. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it really did have all types of terrain. Every lap, you know, something was different. There was a lot of routes, and there's so many different places. We had mud, we had sand. You know, it really put every round into one track, so it was really cool.
How Jesse, since you were out there this morning, you were on the Ace, in the Ace, which is a single-seat UTV, and these are 2-seaters, so they're a little bit bigger, a little bit wider. Are there track differences that they make to accommodate the Aces instead of the big UTVs?
We did have a little bit of fresh track. You know, our course is 2.5 miles because we have 30 minutes to race, and a lot of laps take us 10 minutes, and they don't want us to have a 2-lap race.
We're laughing because if you're here at the track, you can't see this on your screen, but for our listeners at home, the number 407 car is down and out, and but our driver and our co-driver are still having fun. They're raising their hands in the air. They saw the RacerTV guy right there, and they're yeah, we're out here having a lot of fun, even though they're broke down on the first lap.
Yeah, man, where else do you DNF and you're out there high-fiving, having a great time, toasting each other? I don't know what they were doing there, but unbelievable.
That's GNCC racing. You know, they're happy to get out there and at least get 1 lap.
Now, look at this on our screens right here. This is an interesting, Jesse, it's part of what you were talking about, the track, how it combines all different elements. You've got Supercross sand up there at the top, and then you got some black coal sand, all in one shot of our TV screen, which makes this for a very, very interesting race. There goes our leader right now, Kyle Cheney. Not our points leader, but he is our defending champion, 2-time champion, Kyle Cheney, going into the woods there. We've got a nice tight shot from our camera, and as we pan out, we get to see just how tight some of those trees are, and it's a beautiful time of year here in South Carolina, lots of green trees. And
how cool is it to be racing through the leaves now instead of the branches?
Yeah.
And a little bit of green out there instead of just brown, huh, Jess?
Exactly. It's so great. And the conditions this morning, I couldn't have asked for conditions.
Well,
I
this
mean,
looks like a shot from out west as they're on the motocross track right now. It looks like it might be a works race or something with all that dust and sand and the whoops. And, man, this Camp Coker Bullet is just throwing a little bit of everything at these cars.
You know, Carrie Jo come in this morning. As soon as I looked at her, you know, we kind of grinned at each other. We were talking about the facility itself. And, you know, when you look at places like Ironman, Snowshoe, now Marie's Hunting Preserve, you know, that really epitomizes the image of GNCC, the expectations and the level of quality of the facility, of the racetrack. And you don't get facilities and racetracks like this without good competition. And the best competition, as we know, in the world is in GNCC. So I think the Marie Hunting Preserve is on the schedule for a long time to come.
I think it's a great fit. As I pulled in last night and jumped out to scope out my pit area, my 10-year-old son's with me. He's like, hey, what are all these shotgun shells doing out here? And immediately we're like, hey, we're right at home.
I tell you, when you look at this place and you look at Henry's efforts that he's put in, it's such a multifaceted facility. You know, Hammer and Hank Marie, his boy, was a very successful amateur motocrosser. But this is not the only location these guys have. They've got several lodges and locations around the area, and their commitment, dedication to whatever they're doing, whether it's trap shooting, whether it's GNCC racing, whether it's fishing, these guys are going to do it right or they're not going to do it.
Right. Our whole GNCC Racer Productions crew has been doing this for so long. They really know what they're doing. They know what they're looking for, and they know what we're expecting. And they've been doing it so well that we've seen a new sponsor come into the series with CST Tires, as other sponsors have been falling out of the industry over the last 8, 9, 10 years. Now this series has been so stable and been growing that CST Tires says, hey, we think we can come into this and make a dent. And they unveiled their big rig this weekend and actually sponsored to be the headline sponsor for this inaugural round.
I don't know if you realize exactly how important what you said was, Chuck. Not just GNCC and not just motorsports in general. Marketing, sponsorships, retail stuff, down all across the board. People tightening budgets everywhere, and we're attracting new sponsors. We're getting people to loosen up the purse strings.
As it looks like we're going to take a look at our leader. I think this is our leader that we're looking at right here. This is a Can-Am. This is our second place machine. Boy, we got so many leaves covering the number plate. We can't even tell who it is, but trees everywhere, and you can tell that there's been some paint scraping going on and some fender banging. And we just a second ago, we had a nice little battle going on our screen, and I talked to several of the racers before this race even started, that had walked the track and said that there's a lot of wide open areas there that are going to be good for passing, and I think that's some of what we're seeing here with this track.
You know, they did a really great job with the track. There was a few wide open straightaways, but it looks like that's the number 4, Tim Farr.
Yeah.
Is he in the lead?
He's in second place right now on time adjustment. I'd like to see if he's in second place physically.
You know, that man is really great. He really knows how to make up time and get up there really quickly.
He does, and he's got his co-pilot today is Alicia McCormick, the women's UTV.
She made me a sandwich for lunch and I passed out in front of her rig.
She does a little bit of everything. If you follow her on Facebook, she's bicycling, she's working out at the gym, she's being a mom, she's making Jesse sandwiches.
Yeah, Jesse, a little lunch and a nap. You know, great day at the races.
Did a little bit of therapy.
Yep.
Looking at the changing conditions right now, as we mentioned there, Chuck, tell us a little bit about the setup that we would use for the softer conditions and stuff. As we move north, things get a little rockier, a little harder, a little more solid. Tell everybody what you do with your tire and your suspension setup as it's soft.
Well, as we start to consider car setup, I want to point out that Kyle Cheney's on our screen right now, and he is just rocking this track right now. He is, speaking of setup, watch Kyle. He's our reigning champion. He's he's leading this race right now, coming into the finish line chutes. And I love this section because it's a high speed, which is exactly what you're going to have to face on this track. And notice the ruts and notice the 4 tires, how they're staying on the ground. And that's the whole point of the suspension, is to keep the tires on the ground, keep the traction going forward. And if you see somebody with their tires bouncing up and off the ground all the time. They're losing time and is given a really, really rough ride. So you can tell that Kyle Cheney spent a lot of time dialing that suspension. I talked to Jamie McCoy. Actually, this is the number 4 of Tim Farr. Is he physically in second? He's on time adjustment in second and physically in second place.
From the second row?
From the second row.
Oh, nice. That guy, he's a competitor. Like Jesse said, he'll show you how to smooth out a rough section, how to straighten out a curvy section, man. That guy can find time in places you'd never see.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What we're looking at here with the way that he is rolling, let's see what time adjustment does for us here and see where he actually lands. I'm talking really slow because I'm waiting on the computer to update. I want to know where he's at, actually. I don't know that he's actually physically in second place there. I think that the camera just picked him up there because as these guys are coming through, it looks like Cody Miller has captured the second place position, followed by Jason Luberg. But we just saw Tim come through, and he is on adjusted time in third place. So Cody Miller, our current points leader, is actually the one that's on a tear right now, and he's the one making up time. Despite Tim looking so good, Cody Miller, the unsung hero, is sneaking right up in there.
And to get these machines in the perfect condition as far as the suspension set right, tire pressure, it's really hard with each track. The terrain's so different.
Well, that's what I was about to comment with Jamie McCoy. He was in third place for the first 2 rounds. He went 3-3 for rounds 1 and 2, and he's in third place in points. I was talking to him at the starting line, and he said, well, I'm on my backup motor right now. I blew a motor. I said, how did you do that? And he said, I was out testing suspension for this race because suspension's so important. So, unfortunately, it looks like we are looking at our Yamaha. One of our producers trying to figure out what's going on here, but it looks like our lone Yamaha YXZ is sitting alone out in his field.
It's missing a rear wheel, isn't it?
I think that he is. looks like the Camp Coker bullet has struck.
As this race goes on, I feel like we're going to see a lot of cars falling out and breaking down, and a lot of people towed in.
You know, that's an interesting comment here, Jesse, because I was asking Sam Yoakley this morning. I said, man, oh, man, he was looking at his ace, and he was checking it out, and this was bent, and that was bent. The guy won.
Yeah.
Okay. And here you are. You win. You podium in a side-by-side. Still, you broke $1,000 worth of parts. Okay. The front end needs straightened out. You can't race it again next week bent like that. The tires are history. You blow a CV joint or a seal or something, you know. It all adds up, and you won. You know, you're not out because of a mechanical. You won, and you still got to lay out $1,000 to get that thing ready for next week.
It's all for love of the sport.
My mechanic told me to stay easy on the front end and not run into anybody this round because I bent the frame last round. They have to switch it out.
Did they have to do a frame swap?
They didn't have enough time between the two. He's like, it's a Band-Aid over a bullet hole, so hang in there and don't be running into people.
You know, Jess, I'm seeing a pattern there with you. A little bit of hammerhead action there. You know, flop her back over, up through the field she comes. You know, take it easy on the front end, Jesse.
When it comes to R&D, I'm the girl.
I love this section of track that we're looking at. As I'm not sure who it is that's going to come in, but they're going to show us exactly how this track flows, almost like a road racing course there. And we switch our camera view to Kyle Cheney, being followed by the 422 of Cody Miller. We've got a battle here. Both these guys started on row 1, so this is a physical battle. We don't have to worry about time adjustment. But look at these guys as they roll through the motocross track right through the whoops. Looks like Kyle Cheney got a 2-foot gap there, but oh, look, lap traffic becoming an issue on lap number 3 here.
Yeah, and you get behind a lapper, and that will take away seconds, and that's how you lose a lot of time. If you can't figure out a good way to get around them, that takes it, and then someone else will, and that's how you get past.
You better believe it. You just watch that time get flushed. And the other problem, Jess, is when you're following like that and you're getting that close and you're up in the lappers, the visibility, the vision, the ability to see around them, that guy who's back 3 or 4 car lengths, he's going to have the ability to maybe spot that line. So all kinds of problems presented with the lappers.
Look at Cody Miller here. Now, I've got to think that if I were Cody Miller, and I'm not out there racing, but if I were Cody Miller, I see Kyle Cheney right in front of me, latch my bumper onto him for a couple of laps, That's not the way that Cody's driving that car, though. He is hungry. He's taking different lines, and not only is he keeping up with Kyle Cheney, I think he's looking for a way around.
Oh, no question. Most people don't know that Cody Miller was in the 4x4 Pro class, I believe, this morning, and I think he won. Kevin Cunningham got second. Yeah, Cody won. I was trying to go back through my podium process here, but Cody Miller laying it down on that quad this morning, 4x4 Pro class, pumped with that win. But you know he's excited about on the podium? To get in this UTV.
I've actually got Cody's contact information written down right here. I'm the guy that does the Tuesday Toolbox on the website, and I said, man, I've got to interview that guy. So I've already got his number and email here. I'll be contacting him in here the next week or two. We'll showcase him on Tuesday Toolbox, and I think we did one with you not too long ago, didn't we, Jesse?
Yeah, before the season started. There's another car out.
Another one out. I think you're right. Jesse had made a good call a few minutes ago that we're probably going to see a few of these cars breaking down and needing to be towed because it's so rough out there.
And the thing about a UTV, those parts are not cheap. It's not like a bike or a quad, you know, small parts. These are some big A-arms, big pieces, and when you break them, it's going to cost some money.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not a poor man's sport. It sure is a fun man's sport, though.
Well, that's the beauty of the Polaris Ace.
Well, isn't
For
it?
a retail of $89.99, about the same as a new 450, you can get into GNCC racing in a whole new way. So Polaris, thanks to them, guess what? Not everybody wants to dump, $17,000, $18,000 for the unit, and then put $17,000, $18,000 in suspension, motor, safety, and that kind of stuff. You know what? Everybody's not out for a championship. A lot of people want to have fun, and Polaris recognized that. And the Ace, one of the most amazing new products that I've seen in motorsports in quite some time. Automotive-style controls, side-by-side capability moves, but guess what? You're central-seated, automotive-style controls, and a cage. And you know what they say, with age comes a cage, Chuck. So,
hey, let me tell you, I did the UTV racing for several years when it first came out, and it was a lot of fun. It did get very pricey. Here we've got Kyle Cheney and the Cody Miller battle, just nothing. Neither one of them have given an inch to the other, and it's a wheel-to-wheel action. It sure would be fun to be out there and be able to follow them through the woods, and our RacerTV crew is scrambling right now to try and do just that. And as soon as we see the next camera shot, we'll be sure to bring your attention to it, because it looks like those guys are going to battle all the way to the end.
Yeah, those guys are going to latch onto each other. They're going to use each other's momentum. You can't say they're going to watch each other's lines, because, to be honest with you, there's 2 to 3 lines in any given spot. You're going to see that line no matter what. So it's not a matter of following that guy to learn something. It's a matter of following him for a smoother track, an opportunity to pass, and most importantly, a mistake. Yep. If you're back far enough and you're off to either side and that mistake happens, you can capitalize. And as Jess will tell you, it's not going to be easy for that guy to get back around you. Once you have possession of that spot, then it's much easier to defend than overtake.
And also they can stay close for the vision aspect of it. With the dust the way it is, the closer you stay. That's what I did this morning. And then as soon as I lost him, I lost my momentum.
Was that the number 4 car?
That
was
the
Tim
number
Farr.
4.
And what you saw was a lapper pulling out of the way for Tim, so that Tim wouldn't have to lose too much time to get in. What I am concerned about for the Cody Miller and Kyle Cheney battle is something like that happening for the front car of Kyle Cheney. He's the snowplow. He's pushing the lappers out of the way, but these cars are a lot bigger than what you see on television when you watch Supercross. You watch Supercross and you see the blue flag come out, and you see Ryan Dungey come through, and he just kind of parts the way, and the next 2 or 3 guys are able to easily overtake the lappers. What happens here is that guy will get out for one car, and then he gets back into line, and there's nowhere for the second-place car to go.
Well,
so
another
that
good thing
could
is they have the
become a
horn.
problem.
The horn really helps with that situation as well. They just blow the horn, and hopefully that lapper hears. But a bad thing about that is if the lapper pulls back out, the guy behind him creams the lapper, and then he's out.
Right.
One thing I've truly noticed, everybody understands their speed. Everybody is, pretty much signed up in the right class and that type of thing. When they hear the horn, they respect it. They move over. A lot of times you get so many riders in the quads and the bikes that they just kind of ignore, that fact just a little bit and go ahead and ride in the racing line. And these guys so open to letting each other by and making room.
Looks like we might have had. There's the number 1 of Kyle Cheney, but I think that I think that we had the 422 come through just before Kyle Cheney. So something happened between our camera shots, and I think we've got a new leader here. There he is. And we're just in the booth watching in awe because that is indeed the 422 machine of Cody Miller. It's confirmed now. We see that on our screen. And, man, look at the gap that he's opened in just about 20 seconds. He's got a 6-second gap over Kyle Cheney.
You know, that has to lead to the fact that the speed was already there. He was being held up. He was looking for a safe spot to get around. So you know what? He doesn't want to jeopardize his position. Guess what? You got up there and you tag somebody in the rear and you bend your A-arm or you pop a hub. And guess what? Your day's over, too, because you tried to force the issue. And obviously, once he got by, he turned he hit
turned
the
on the speed, didn't
he? And he's gone.
Well, it looks like as we look at the beautiful green screen here, our Jesse, you've been in these situations before, and as a racer, if you're that much faster than somebody and you're following them, then when you get the opportunity,
right on their butt, and then the goal is once we get to a straightaway, go around them, and that's how you pass people.
Daytona slingshot.
Yeah, if you stay right there and then you just pass them as soon as you get in the straightaway. My issue today was I just didn't have the power behind the machine, but you know, next round we're gonna give her some go juice and we'll come back strong.
Well, you bring up a good point. In this sand, it takes power.
A lot.
I mean, we're talking with Jamie McCoy. He was out testing suspension, blew a motor. If you can only have one of the two, suspension is key.
Yes.
Because if you don't have suspension, it doesn't matter how much power you have, you can't put it to the ground.
Especially in my case, you know, I have 19 screws and 2 rods in my back, so I need a smooth ride out there.
Yes, yes. No matter what, suspension's key for Jesse's success. And we like having her around, so we want you to have good suspension. This is our shot on screen is this little horseshoe is just before the finish line, and there you see Cody Miller followed closely by Kyle Cheney. So that 6-second gap, Kyle Cheney is eaten into that 6-second gap, and ladies and gentlemen, it is not over.
You know, it never is till you see that checkered flag in GNCC. I said it 3 times today, and it worked out to be fulfilled. That last lap, that white flag lap, man, it's going to happen every week in and week out, whether it's 2 wheels, 4 wheels in GNCC racing. And I tell you what I'm seeing right here, Chuck and Jess, this is looking like our XC1 quad race. It looked like Walker and Adam McGill getting back and forth. All of a sudden there was 12 seconds, then there was 4 seconds, then there was 20 seconds, then there was 2 seconds. And the ability for these guys to do this in a side-by-side in a UTV, that's just amazing to me to be able to find that kind of time.
Especially in a big machine like that, just to be able to gain that momentum to get up there and get that gap.
You guys talked about the sand and power. That's called engine load, is what that's called. Yeah. When you're putting drag on the driveline and a lot of guys, you know, they're racers. They don't know how to overcome that. They don't know how to really ride above that, how to float on top of the surface. You know, they let the bike do the work, and they just keep hammering. But the ability to get on top of the surface, use proper gear selection, and keep that load off the engine, it's just amazing to watch these guys do that because it's obvious who can and who can't.
Yeah, and right now we're looking at Tim Farr checking into the finish line. Who can, absolutely. But he's pretty far back. He's still in the 3rd place position. But he's not up there in that battle for 1 and 2. The thing about a battle like that is that it pushes each other, and they end up gaining time because they're pushing each other.
And that's what you have to notice. Tim Farr is kind of by himself. He doesn't have anyone in front of him, anyone behind him. He's just riding his own pace at this point.
He doesn't have a mark. He doesn't have anything to gauge himself against. Now, Chuck mentioned one thing. Normally, when you get the top 2 guys together, man, it will pick up the momentum. But when you get one guy chasing the next guy or there's really a battle, those guys will slow each other down a lot of times. You know, you won't hit the perfect corner. You'll take a wide line. You know, you'll make some moves trying to make something happen, and you'll just distract each other. But today, these 2 picking up the pace, and what they're doing is they're pushing each other today.
We have been watching the number 591 of Stephen Matko as he came through the finish line chute, and so I'm going to break my promise to him. I told him I wouldn't talk about him on screen because every time I do, something bad happens. And I saw him on the line. He was back in the 3rd row. I said, "What are you doing back here?" And I said, "Well, I won't talk about you at all today." And he laughed, but man, he's driving so good. He's up into the he's in the 5th place he was in the 5th place position at the end of his 2nd lap. He just checked in on his 3rd lap, and it looks like he's really doing well. So kudos to him, and hopefully his race will continue to go as well as it has been, and he can gain some points. I'm sure that's what everybody out here, that's the goal. The long-term strategy is gain points for the season. This is the halfway mark. This is round 3 of 6. And so at the conclusion of today's race, we're halfway through the season, and everybody right now has got to have that long-term focus.
Hey, Jesse, we're at the 35-minute mark right now. What are the arms starting to feel like? What's the back starting to feel like? The neck, that type of thing, you know?
You know, at 30 minutes, my last lap, I had my arm up on the side. I was just full throttle. I have the advantage of hand controls. I personally think I'm at an advantage from everyone else. I have front and rear brake control, and I have that thumb throttle. RacerTech really did it. You got to think I don't have to take my foot off the gas and onto the brake to go around corners.
No doubt. I've studied your machine, but still, there has to be a stress level. There has to be a wear factor. You know, when you start getting into the 30, 40-minute mark and running this kind of pace.
It depends on the racer. Honestly, the start is when I'm at my biggest anxiety. Right. I'm doing everything in my power to try and stay calm. But by this point, you kind of figure out where you're at, and you're just out there to have a good time.
In the groove.
We have come back to the motocross track here on RacerTV, and we see a battle for the lead with Kyle Chaney having closed up on the number 422 machine of Cody Miller. And Cody Miller, this lap, leads Kyle through the motocross whoops. And these guys are almost getting on top of those whoops, which is what you would expect a dirt bike to do.
Exactly. They're almost skimming the upper part of the whoop. And just look how smooth Kyle Chaney was through that particular section. And you see kind of where he gains his time at.
Yeah, you do. And it's just what Matt was talking about a little bit ago with that power load and getting on top of these things and letting momentum to be your friend instead of trying to power through. And you can tell the difference between the amateurs and the pros. And sometimes it's just a matter of how heavy your foot is in these cars.
It was amazing to watch those guys come through there. 2 things you didn't see. You didn't see the unit bottom out, and you also did not see full droop. So, I mean, those guys have it dialed.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, if you're not maxing it out in either direction, and that car is seemingly smooth through that terrain, unbelievable setup on your car. And with that being said, we're going to take a few minutes here. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with the action here on RacerTV.com.
For a corporate, family, or wedding event, Maury's Recreational Retreat is a 150-acre hidden gem just outside Florence. We offer a 13-bedroom Grand Lodge with full commercial kitchen. Relax and enjoy one of our lakes with fishing pier and boat dock, bumper boats, rifle range, lighted ski facility, horse riding trails, swimming pool, kids playground, and paved go-kart track. On-site chapel is also available. For more information about the perfect getaway for your mind, body, and soul, go to Maury'sRecreationalRetreat.com.
Racer, Ranger, Sportsman, Ace. If you live for the outdoors, there's a Polaris to match your passion. Confident, comfortable, capable. That's Ace. With a solo cockpit, automotive controls, independent suspension, all-wheel drive, and up to 45 horses of fuel-injected power. Calling it revolutionary would be an understatement. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis tires. CST Tires.
You smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Yeah, WildTech, that full-size motorcycle. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. You can't explain it. Everything I learned applies to now. Seeing your motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour, oh, definitely rewarding. My name is Mike. My school's WildTech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Turn pro at WildTech.
I've been with Liat for a lot of years, and I know the dedication they have for safety. When they told me they were coming out with a helmet, I signed right up.
All right, welcome back. And, you know, taking a look at our upcoming live shows, May 1st, of course, the Bullet GNCC bike. That'll be tomorrow. May 7th, Ironman ATV Motocross. On Saturday, May 14th, going to be at the Limestone for the GNCC ATV race. And on the 15th, Limestone 100 GNCC bike race. But you can catch each and every one of these races live on RacerTV.com.
Well, Megawatt, welcome back to the Camp Coker Bullet here at the here at this beautiful, beautiful Sportsman Reserve here in Maury, South Carolina, or Society Hills, South Carolina. And it's a pleasure to be brought here by CST Tires.
Might as well name it Maury.
Might as well.
He owns everything in the county.
He's got a road named after him, and
that's when you've made it, bro.
Yeah,
that's when you made it. When you got a road
that's when
or
you
a
know you
street
got
or a
it.
bridge named after you, you've done something.
I'm looking for that Lee Master Lane, but so far we're out of luck. Hey, I want to take our viewers down through the top 10. We're well over halfway through this race. We're 3 laps complete. Right now, Cody Miller is leading Kyle Chaney by a margin of 3.3 seconds. Kyle Chaney being in second place, followed by Tim Farr in the third place position. So followed by... it looks like in the fourth place, we've got Stephen Matko. Mouse Pratt is in fifth place. John Barnes in sixth. Our seventh place is Pete Libby. Eighth place is Jamie McCoy. Ninth place overall is David Plavy, but David Plavy is leading the XC2 class. John Henry is in 10th place, and that rounds out our top 10 overall. As we turn our attention back to Racer TV, it looks like we've got another...
he's got a problem.
Oh, no. Is that Kyle Chaney?
That's the number 1 of Kyle Chaney.
We had a lead change.
Look how quick he gets out of the car, though. He's got the net down already, and he's getting out. Something happened.
Oh, no, that's we definitely see the number 1 there. Kyle's girlfriend is in the car with him. Kyle is up there, got his head buried in the front end, looking at that left front tire. He is all kinds of a hurry. That's very unusual to see somebody pull over in the lead, and it takes about 10 minutes to buckle that 5-point harness. So that's a big deal of getting out and getting the net down, getting the harness undone, and then to go through it all again. He's going to give up about a minute and a half here just to get out and look at his car. So something has to be going on with that vehicle.
Well, I also want to point out that the number 3 of Tim Farr was about a minute and 10 seconds behind him. And, you know, now that gap's closed a little bit, and Cody Miller has a nice little plush cushion of not having to worry about Kyle Chaney.
Yeah, we were so focused on Kyle Chaney there. Did we see Tim Farr come through? I don't think that we did, but there's Kyle Chaney right there. Oh, not handling the way that he normally is. Look at this.
What a shame.
There's Tim Farr right there making the pass. This puts Tim Farr into second place physically. With time adjustment, he already had it. But we see Kyle Chaney there is limping that car.
You know, Jesse told us Tim was about a minute 10, minute 14 or something.
Right, right.
Holy cow, getting out, making that adjustment, like you said, putting that 5-point back together. There it is, done.
I mean, the time can be made up so quickly. And Steve Matko, he was about 50 seconds behind Tim Farr. So he had plush cushion ahead and behind. But now with Kyle Chaney limping, I think we might see...
Wave bye-bye to that cushion.
You know, I think that he's limping the car because he doesn't want to make more problems than it's going to be worth.
Well, you saw him come out of that corner and slinging it sideways, and that's very un-Chaney-like. He's usually dialed and he's tracking, and it looked like, honestly, it looked like he only had power to one wheel. And but I don't know. He could have broken an axle, or he's hearing a noise in that front end. who knows? But he's going to try and limp it back and salvage some points. But here it looks like dialed and driving is the 422 of Cody Miller.
You know, we talked earlier about the parts and brakes, but let me tell you something. Equipment preservation has to be first and foremost on your mind. I mean, there's just so many opportunities, whether it's a A-arm, whether it's motor, or whether it's chassis itself, just so many opportunities to stop the thing dead in its tracks.
Oh, you know, you hit a tree the perfect way, just with your tire. I did it last year at St. Clairsville, the Powerline Park. I hit a tree just with my tire. I watched it on the GoPro, and it ripped the entire front end apart.
Day over. Done.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wasn't even a lap in. I was like a mile in.
You know, I'm starting to see a pattern with you on that first lap, man. There's starting to be some carnage in these stories, and I've witnessed some of them myself.
Here is the number 4 car of Tim Farr and Alicia McCormick coming around. They're going to grab the white flag. It looked like last time that Cody Miller came through, Ricky Towery, our referee, gave the white flag to Cody Miller. So this is our last lap, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to end up being a 5-lap race. And Tim Farr now physically in second place, checking in. Stephen Matko, we should be seeing him check in. And eventually we'll see Kyle Chaney check in as well if he can keep that car together and keep it out there on the track and salvage some points in this race. As we've been talking, preservation is job number 1. And the old, worn-out cliche is to finish first. First you have to finish, and it's never been more true than it is with UTV racing. And here's Kyle Chaney right here, taking a quick look. You know, that car does not handle as well as when it's at speed.
It looks like the passenger side front, there's something going on there.
And yet we saw Kyle jump out and look at the driver's side front, but boy, it's really hard to he's there's somebody coming along and saying, hey, I can help with this, maybe.
You know, you won't see that in NASCAR. You won't see a mechanic or a crew member run along beside the track, man. I can guarantee you.
I almost thought that Kyle was going to get a push.
Oh, that's Marcus Pratt.
Oh, that is Marcus Pratt.
Mm-hmm.
There's teamwork for you. You know, the Can-Am drivers are coming together.
I mean, that goes back to we're just a big family. You know, I'm with the Coastal Group and the Jack's Excavating with the Pratt brothers, and they make sure to always feed me and take really good care of me, even though they ride Can-Am and I ride Polaris.
Great bunch of people over there, known those guys for years, and you know, everything they do is sincere. Everything they do is genuine, you know, and all they're worried about is helping. You know, they're not looking for any praise, any self-gratification or whatever. Those guys just want to be involved, and they want to see people succeed, and they want to be part of it.
Speaking of help, we saw that Kyle Chaney is actually pulling off the track. He came through the barrels, and he's pulling off the track. Last our Racer TV crew caught, and maybe it'll be a quick adjustment in the pits, and he can get back out there and salvage some more points. But in the meantime, the race continues.
As long as Cody Miller doesn't run into any problems, the number 4, Tim Farr, should not catch him because he has about a minute lead on him. But one blown turn, one missed, you know, issue running into a tree. This morning there was an ace wedged between 2 trees, front back. I was like, how do you even do that?
our track crew has
possible.
But it was great because he was yelling at us the seconds we were behind when we were in the woods, and it was about halfway through.
Hey, guys. Can I jump in for just a second?
Absolutely. It sounds like we've got Rodney Tomlin on the horn here.
Guys, we're down here in the pits right now of Kyle Chaney. We just saw him pull off there just a moment ago. And Kyle, man, it looked like things were going along pretty good there for you through the biggest part of the race. What in the world are you doing over here in the pits, man?
Yeah, me and Cody were having a really good race. I don't know. Something happened, and I got in a hole back there and broke both my left axles. So I ain't going to make it around the track another lap. So I just got around that lap. Hopefully we can get some points.
There you go. So I hear that you guys had a really intense battle. I had people coming in saying you wouldn't believe the battle these guys got going on out there. Sounds like it was pretty heated.
Yeah, me and Cody were going at it. It was pretty fun. I wish I'd have made another lap.
I'll tell you what, good luck to you, Kyle. I hate to see this happen, but you got a good head on your shoulders, going to try to come back and fight another day. That's what's happening down here. Our defending champ out of the race.
Well, Rodney, thanks a lot for checking in. It's we hate it for him. It's part of racing, and we know that he'll rebound the next race, and appreciate the update there. As we turn our attention back to our live timing and scoring, this now changes the race. We've got Cody Miller leading. We've been talking a lot about Cody, and it looks like we are getting a look at Cody Miller right there, the 422 machine. as he is dialed on the motocross track, but he's followed by Tim Farr, and this puts Stephen Matko into the third place position. And he has checked in for the end of his fourth lap, so we've got Cody Miller, Tim Farr, Stephen Matko. Kyle Cheney checked in fourth place.
Oh.
We got parts flying on our screens here, and that's the number 2 machine, which is Bill Patterson. Bill Patterson has had a rough day.
And you see that net's down on the car itself, so that makes us believe that he had probably got out of the car at one point when he smashed up the front of it.
He probably did get out, makes whatever adjustments he can, and keep going and try and salvage points. Bill Patterson's won these races in the past, but man, he's having a yard sale as he's going down the track.
Well, that Coastal Racing team
flying.
altogether, bike, quad, the UTVs, that Coastal Racing team really has everything pretty dialed in, and you know they have a great group of people with Barry Hawk leading it. You know, they have a great program, and I think that's someone we need to watch out for in all aspects. They're a huge contender.
You're 100% right, and that starts at the top with Scott Kiger. Okay, one of those guys. We talked about people earlier. He's not going to do it if he's not going to do it right. If he's not going to be a contender, if he's not going to be an immediate factor, then it's probably not something Scott's interested in. But whatever he does, 2 wheels, 4 wheels, in the plane, in the desert, in the water, they're going to do it right or they won't do it. And they're going to be a factor in all assets of GNCC racing for a long time to come.
Oh, man, speaking of a factor, I'm really enjoying this view of Tim Farr on the motocross track there. He cleared that tabletop. He railed the berm. He's just making... He's making it look like UTVs belong on a motocross track.
You know, it takes us back to out west, the works race. You watch the works races, and that's what it looks like. So you see Tim Farr bringing that into the GNCC and showing people how it's done.
You know, it's almost got a little bit of look of that old Mickey Thompson Ultracross.
Yes.
When they ran the buggies indoors and that type of thing. They'd run 3-wheelers, buggies, and bikes all on the same night on the same track. It was a crazy, crazy situation. But when you look at these
Jessie
guys,
has no idea what you're talking about. I mean, this is like in the 1800s to her.
She's like, Ultracross. I believe we've studied that. But, we've
in
heard
history
of that.
class.
We've heard of that.
Is it like a
look
reader
at me like,
cross?
like I'm talking about, the invention of electricity or something.
Right. You were around back when Thomas Edison was, huh?
You know,
I bet you had a pet dinosaur, didn't you?
Oh, you guys are killing me.
All right. Looks like we've got some lack traffic in the way of our current leader, Cody Miller. But moving out of the way, and although we can't hear it on our screens, those horns are working. GNCC had a rule change this past week, actually, that you're not restricted to air horns in the XC1 and XC2 classes anymore. You can actually put a physical horn on your car, and that's good. Because what was happening was with those air horns, they were getting shook up and they wouldn't work anymore. So late in the race, the horns wouldn't work. Obviously, our lapper knew that he had somebody behind him and he was able to get out of the way in a safe place, and our fast drivers were able to get out of the way.
It looks like last year's stock champion, Dan McConaughey, is having some issues on the right there as well.
Is that who that was sitting there on the side? It's... I guess it happens to everybody in this race. I know that as we were watching, this is the Kemco machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, it's hard to say what's happened as he's sitting right there. But here we've got Tim Farr. I'm sure he was probably blowing his horn, but he didn't. He wasn't given the opportunity to get around right there and going into a deep wood section.
And those guys wasted no time putting an electric horn in those cars. I saw John Yoakley. He sent me some videos this week, and he's like, check this out. We're in business now. So
everybody, as soon as that rule change came out, everybody was running to AutoZone wherever they had to go because it's so important.
It really is.
And as you said, Matt, GNCC tends to be, in all disciplines, lap traffic is a factor. But here in UTVs, it seems like there's a unspoken agreement that I'll get out of the way generally, not always.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a lot of respect amongst these guys, and I see the same type of thing in 4x4 Pro Quad racing. You know, those guys respect each other, and although they're competitors, let me tell you something. When that flag drops, man, they want to win, and they'll put a knobby on each other. But I tell you what, they're not going to do. They're not going to put each other at risk. They're not going to disrespect each other, and they're not going to bend the rules, break the rules, that type of thing, just to get that position. So it's a lot of fun to watch, and to see the camaraderie and the spec. You're not going to find that in a stick and ball sport. You're not going to find that at the playground, but these guys have a lot at risk here, and look out for each other the whole race.
You know, every race I try to bring someone new with me, one of my friends, to show them what GNCC is about, why I'm so passionate about the sport and everything. And we had 2 GoPros in the car this morning, and he's like, "You just plowed into that guy." I was like, "He was turning in front of me. I was trying to stop him."
Exactly. I was helping.
Well, that's how it's done. It looks like we're back out here to the motocross track, and some maybe creative lines there.
And there's the 422 of Cody Miller.
Yep, Cody
just
Miller.
taking
Boy,
it home.
his car is still just hooked up and dialed, and I think I'm seeing some plastic hanging there, though.
Yeah.
He's
I told
gotten
you
into
he
a
bumped
tree
into that
or-
lapper a while back.
Yep.
He must have been blowing that horn. You know, some of them don't have that courtesy.
Some
they
of 'em
think,
don't.
oh, if I just go a little faster, and then they mess up in front of you, and that's when you lose more time.
Right.
Yes.
No doubt about it. That's always one of the things you're going to deal with. There's always going to be that one guy that wants to race the leaders. You know, he wasn't a factor all day, but man, the leader's coming, and I know if I could get on his bumper, I could stay with him. You know,
Yeah,
and it's just never
exactly.
the
So
case.
a lot of times, you know, you let the leaders pass you, and then you do try to stick with them, and that's how you gain speed as well.
No question about that. No question about
Looks
that.
like Bill is a lap down here. This is Bill Patterson's machine, and some of that plastic is finally blown off. It looks like he's a lap down, but he's not acting like it. He is he's moving along pretty quickly there. So
You know, I'm curious to
hopefully-
see what kind of issues he ran into as well. It's always different to get the racer's perspective, just
Yes.
to see what we didn't.
Let me tell you, the car may look like it's doing one thing or another. It may seem like it's, and like you say, the problem's totally different once you hear it from the driver. So that's one reason I just love the Podium so much. You're gonna get all that information that you just didn't see, you couldn't catch, and you're like, oh, now it all makes sense.
Exactly. You know, we see other riders making a mistake, or they see our mistakes, and they'll be sure to tell you all about it.
Hey, I want to give a little shout out here to the XC2 class. We've got John Henry and David Plavi have worked their way well inside of the top 10 overall from the XC2 position. John Henry currently leads David Plavi by 1.9 seconds. So we're having a battle in the XC2 class. These 2 guys have both won races this year, and it looks like it's going to be a championship season-long battle. So that'll be interesting to see the XC2 unfold as those guys come through the finish line here in just a few short minutes. But that's certainly one that we want to keep our eyes on. I saw John Henry John Henry. I saw him down on the start line for the ATV Pros, and he said, "Man, I'm nervous." But it looks like as I'm yapping away, Cody Miller comes across the finish line and has taken checkered flag.
You know what a day that has to be. The guy wins the 4x4 Pro class, turns around, wins the UTV race here today. An amazing day for him, no question about it. Chuck, we're going to let you head down to the Podium right now. I know Rodney's down there, got everything set up and waiting on you. No question you're going to deliver some fantastic interviews. You're going to find out all that critical information that we didn't see, that we didn't pick up on, and we'll talk to you in just a few minutes, man. Looking forward to seeing you down on the podium.
And you know how excited Cody Miller has to be that, unfortunately, Cheney's day was ended early, but he took that win.
Hey, that's racing, okay? All right, you know as well as I do, that's all part of it. So have not seen Tim come through yet. As a matter of fact, there he is. Yep. You know what? In my head, I'm taking a quick look at it, and I think that's what everybody was pulled over waiting on, to see if Tim can really win this thing, if he's got enough leeway in the adjusted time, and we're going to find out here in just a second. But I'm going to have to say that, let's see here. What's it look like, Jess?
You know, the time adjustment really does mess with everybody as well.
I'm going to have to guess that Cody wins. We'll let it we'll wait for the official results.
Exactly.
I've spoken too soon before. Matter of fact, I've set up the podium the wrong way based on it. So we're going to make sure we know what we're talking about here. But an amazing effort by Tim Farr nonetheless. Whether he made it or not, whether he come up the second or two short, masterful driving here today by Tim Farr.
And you have to really give it to him with all that time in between the people ahead of him, the people behind him. He didn't have someone behind him pushing him. He couldn't see the person in front of him to keep that momentum, but he kept it somehow. So you really have to give that to him on the great driving today.
Yeah, no man's land is a tough place to ride. No man's land, you don't see the rider in front of you or rider behind you. But it sounds like we're getting word from Price right now that Cody Miller is going to be our winner. Tim just not able to overcome the time deficit. So, man, oh, man, what a day for Cody Miller. 2 big wins here in one day.
It's really, you know, hats off to him.
Right on. Jess, we're going to take a commercial break here. We're going to come back to all the action. We'll join our guys down on the podium as soon as we come back.
For a corporate, family, or wedding event, Maury's Recreational Retreat is a 150-acre hidden gem just outside Florence. We offer a 13-bedroom Grand Lodge with full commercial kitchen. Relax and enjoy one of our lakes with fishing pier and boat dock, bumper boats, rifle range, lighted ski facility, horse riding trails, swimming pool, kids playground, and paved go-kart track. On-site chapel is also available. For more information about the perfect getaway for your mind, body, and soul, go to MauriceRecreationalRetreat.com.
Racer, Ranger, Sportsman, Ace. If you live for the outdoors, there's a Polaris to match your passion. Confident, comfortable, capable. That's Ace. With the solo cockpit, automotive controls, independent suspension, all-wheel drive, and up to 45 horses of fuel-injected power. Calling it revolutionary would be an understatement. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis tires. CST tires.
You smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Yeah, wow, take that full-size motorcycle. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. You can't explain it. Everything I learned applies to now. Seeing your motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour, oh, definitely rewarding. My name is Mike. My school's Wyotech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Turn pro at Wyotech.
I've been with Liat for a lot of years, and I know the dedication they have for safety. When they told me they were coming out with a helmet, I signed right up.
All right, everybody, want to remind you once again, upcoming live shows on RacerTV.com. Tomorrow, of course, the Bullet GNCC bike racing. Next week, Saturday, May 7th, Ironman ATV motocross racing. Saturday, May 14th, the Limestone 100 GNCC. Of course, ATVs on Saturday. And on Sunday, the 15th, we'll have our bike coverage of the legendary Limestone GNCC race. Right now, we're getting our podium set up. An amazing race here in our UTV classes this afternoon. Chuck LeMasters and Jesse Strawham with us this afternoon. Opportunity to watch some of the best UTV riders or drivers in the country. And when we're sitting here watching this on screen, you're only getting part of the story. There's no doubt a lot of things happen behind the scenes out there what we couldn't see on camera. When we're talking about machines of this size and a race that is 1 hour long on a course maybe about 6 miles, lots of things tend to happen in a quick way. And Pastor Chuck LeMasters down there on the podium. He's going to interview these guys for us. He's going to get the word on exactly how it went down out there and going to answer all those unforeseen questions that we just couldn't quite pick up on. And sure, we have lots of stuff we want to find out about some of the mechanicals, some of the DNFs and that type of thing, and also how some of the passes were made and how we did get into the lead. So we're looking forward to hearing all that and more from Pastor Chuck LeMasters here in just a few minutes. He's joined by Rodney Tomlin down there on the podium. Rodney helping out with sound down there today. So we're going to give these guys just a couple minutes to get set up and prepped up, and then we're going to hand the mic right over to those guys. Looks like Chelsea getting them lined up right now. Chelsea Taylor helping get the podium set up down there, getting everybody rounded out. Looks like we're getting ready to get our photos taken, get our new hats put on, and we're getting ready to get a podium celebration underway. We're going to send it down to Rodney right now.
All right, thanks a lot, Chuck down there, or excuse me, Matt. Chuck down here with me on the podium right now as we're getting things set up, and was just talking with Cody Miller, congratulating on him. Win number 2 today. That's pretty amazing. He did the 4x4 Pro Class earlier this morning, but here's something else that's really cool about that is the fact that he's a former ATV motocross star, believe it or not, kind of like Tim Farr is here, former ATV motocross star. So, man, it's good to see these guys crossing over into the wood side of things and making things happen. But I say gather around down here, everybody. Get ready to go as we get ready to celebrate here. Steve Matko, your driver, in 3rd place. Tim Farr in 2nd, and Cody Miller takes 2 big wins here today. Chuck LeMaster, I'll tell you, it's a pretty amazing day. A pretty good way to cap off I think an opening round like this here at Camp Coker.
Man, I'll tell you what, Rodney, this has been an exciting day here at Camp Coker, and I know these guys have really put forth their best efforts and worked really hard and been able to bring home the bacon. So I'm going to start, I'm going to wiggle my way up through here and get to interview these top 3 contenders. And as I do, if we could get our finishers to go ahead and scoot together on the podium, we'll go ahead and get pictures out of the way, and then I'll get a chance to talk to you each individually.
As we get everybody lined out down there for what I like to call the class picture, we'll let Ken Hill and all our sponsors get their photo opportunities taken care of right now. And we're going to join Chuck back on the podium as soon as we wrap up the photos and find out exactly how it went down out there today in our UTV racing at Camp Coker.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Megawatt. I'm going to go ahead and slide my way over here. First of all, while we're all together, give it up for our top 3 finishers here of Stephen Matko, Tim Farr, and Cody Miller. Stephen, I'm going to trade places with you here, let you get down here next to your car. But, man, first of all, congratulations to you. I saw you on the starting line, and you were not on the front row, and so I'm sure it's a pretty big thrill to be up here on the box today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We've been putting in a lot of work and haven't been getting any results the last few races, and it feels good to be back on the podium again.
Well, I know that you've always had a hard work ethic, and you've always been striving, putting your best efforts forward. And as an inside joke, I said I wouldn't talk about you today. I didn't want to jinx you, but you were driving so well, I had to give you a shout-out, man. You really looked good. You looked like you had your car dialed out there.
Yeah, the PR2 suspension worked great in that rough track, and those mongrel tires are the answer for in the sand. It seems like it goes great.
Yeah, well, by the looks of you out there on screen, it looked like you were really making things happen, and so we're very thankful for you and happy for you. And who would you like to say thank you to?
Off-Road Motorsports, Can-Am, Wicked Build, Trinity Racing, GBC Tires, ATVRiders.com, and OMF Wheels.
All right, and of course you're a co-driver, right?
Tire Blocks also, Tire Blocks.
All right, Tire Blocks, can't forget that, but it looks like you're in good shape. No flat tires today.
Nope, we're in good shape.
All right, well, congratulations once again. 3rd place, Stephen Matko. All right, I'm going to slide past you. Oh, that is a really cool. We'll get back to this trophy here in just a second. I want to slide down here to talk to Tim Farr. Tim, it looks like you had a great day today, all things considered.
Yeah, you know, we really did. It was a fun race. It was a challenging track, and, you know, my Can-Am worked awesome.
Well, you did not get the start on the front row today. It looked like, I think you were on the 2nd row when you took off, but right from the very beginning, you were up there in the mix.
Yeah, we did get a good start today. You know, the Maxxis tires jumped off the line awesome, and we just, you know, we got out, we hole shotted our row, and we just tried to work our way up. And, you know, it was challenging because it was kind of a mix on, you know, saving the car, but running hard, and it was just really, really rough today.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying is they're coming off the track, and that's what we could tell by watching it on our screens with RacerTV. But did you do anything different with your suspension for this race?
Yeah, I did. I made it a little bit longer and kind of more like the setup I had for Florida.
Experience paying off right here.
Yeah, we use the Fox shocks, and they give us really good support, you know, and pretty much I just give them a call and tell them what I'm thinking, and, you know, they make it happen.
That's fantastic, man. Well, congratulations to you. This is going to move you up in the point standings. You'll probably have a front row start for the next time, and we look forward to seeing what you're able to do at round number 4 coming up.
Thanks, man. We're looking forward to it.
All right. Well, who else would you like to say thank you to?
JB Racing, you know, especially, he just works really, really hard. All the guys at the shop, Maxis, Hauser Racing, Can-Am, you know, these guys just do so much for us. Fly helmets, DWT, SSI, and, you know, good friends of ours, Max in Construction and Gunk, and all these people that are here today watching.
Fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our second place of Tim Farr. All right, moving down here to the very center. Cody, I want to have a look at that trophy there. Hold it up there. I'm sure that your sponsor is going to have to get a picture of that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can't see it, this is a bullet for the Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. Congratulations to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, what a beautiful facility out here. I was blown away whenever we pulled in, and I kept looking around. I was like, wow, that's nice. Whoa, whoa, hey. Yeah, it's really cool. I loved every bit of it. Loved walking the track, and you know, my Can-Am Maverick held up great out there. You know, I had a performance earlier in the 4x4 Pro class as well, and you know, I'm just so thankful to be up here. My brother and I have done a lot of traveling this year to be making these races, and so far we're having really good success. And you know, we really owe it all to our sponsors. You know, Can-Am has been standing by us for years, ever since I was back racing ATV motocross. And you know, we don't do that too much anymore. We decided to go with this sort of stuff. It's a little bit more tame, a little bit more safe, and we really enjoy it. I mean, it's an absolute blast out there to getting to go around the track in these cars. And the machine held up great. You know, the rough sections out there, which is basically the entire track, the car was on point. You know, it was planted. All I had to do was point it in the right direction and try and miss the big holes. And the tires were hooked up. Maxis has done a great job with these big horns and tire balls. And DWT wheels, you know, I hit some trees out there that would have ripped a lot of wheels right off. And with the S3 products and the DWT products, you know, tire balls, it's really amazing the way the car holds up. And that's basically what I have to attribute all my success this year to, is the car handling me, driving it.
Well, you got to know how to drive it too, and you've got the right guys behind you, you got the right support behind you, and on TV we could tell that on some of the left side of your car you got some plastic hanging off. What happened there?
You know what, I actually think that was Kyle Cheney. Him and I passed each other back and forth probably 5 times, and that one time I kind of had to push him a lot. And so, yeah, we definitely traded a lot of pain. I think I lost the front side of my car on his, but, you know, we would come into a tree section out of a field, and the next thing you know, we'd both be at a dead stop behind a guy that was bogged down in a rut or whatever. And we definitely hit each other more out there than what we would have liked to, but, you know, my car held up for it, and unfortunately he ended up having a broke axle, but he was driving on point. I mean, him and I were having a really good battle, and I wish that he wouldn't have DNF'd, but he deserved to be up here just as much as I do. And, you know, I really appreciate everybody coming out and watching us, and, you know, all the fans, you know, everybody that points a line out there. You're gold for me. It's unbelievable how much that helps. And congratulations to you, Tim, for your second place. That's an awesome ride. I'm really happy that we can get 2 Can-Ams up here in first and second.
Yeah, well, you guys have definitely worked hard. All 3 of you up here have worked very hard, and congratulations to you. Is there anybody else that you need to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Hauser Racing has done us an amazing job this year. We just got hooked up with them this year, and we worked a whole lot through the offseason to design this cage. And Beard Seats, there's too many more. Fly, I really appreciate everyone that I'm not bringing up. Harlan Foley he's an angel, man. He's gotten us some great shots this year and really great publicity on ATV riders, and we really appreciate all that he does for us. Anybody that I'm forgetting, you know, I'll get you next time.
All right, fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our top three finishers here. We're going to break out the champagne here. I'm going to get out of the way, and to the victor go the spoils. And as Rodney Tomlin says, the victors of GNCC Racing is the sweet spray of champagne.
All right, thanks so much, Chuck. As these guys get ready to pop the top on the bubbly down there, we'll recap real quick here. An amazing race taking place there. Cody Miller with the win, of course. Tim Farr in second, Steve Matko in third place. And those guys earning that podium today down there. Everybody full of smiles, and an exciting way to watch GNCC racing here with our UTV classes. And with that being said, for our host, Rodney Tomlin, for Pastor Chuck LeMaster, I'm Matt Megawatt Watson. Want to thank everybody for joining us today. We hope to see you here tomorrow for the bike program at GNCC Camp Coker Bullet. And on behalf of everybody here, thanks for joining us. be kind to one another, and do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. We'll see you tomorrow.